cool guys. A couple easy movements. These should feel gentle. We're gonna do about 8 to 10 repetitions of about 6 or 7 movements with your stick here. For each of those movements, say we're doing 10 reps, make the first 2 or 3 really gentle, because those are kind of like your warm-up, they're kind of your probe, your test. And then your future reps of that movement can be a little bit more of a stretch or intense if you want them to be. But let's start off with some really easy dislocates. You're gonna shrug your shoulders up, elbows are straight. You're gonna bring that stick overhead and around. Try and match my pace. This is a really good tempo for a dislocate. And if I can't keep my elbows straight, I gotta widen my hands if possible on whatever you're using. Or you can allow your fingers to slide a little bit off your stick. But try and add that nice shrug every time, because that is much more efficient for shoulder rotation than keeping the shoulders low. This is really, really grindy on the shoulders. We want to add the shoulder blades. If able now, you're going to narrow your grip a little bit or wrap your fingers more. Of course, will make it more difficult, but this doesn't need to be anything super crazy. So nice big shrug up. We're going to do about 2 more. And my torso right is fairly neutral. I'm not blowing out through my rib cage. So I got a little bit of intention and awareness through my spine. One last one. Nice. Good, okay. A couple seconds to breathe there. All right, we're gonna do some windmills next. Pretty wide again. You're gonna go on an angle. Softly tap your low back. And then you're gonna return on the angle of the other side. We're just going to do 3 or 4 of these per direction. And if able, depending on the size of your stick, again, you're trying to keep your elbows mostly straight. And if helpful, again, exaggerate the shrug up. We'll do 1 more, just like so. And just be gentle. These movements are completely fine for the shoulder, but if your shoulder is like a little bit unhappy or a little bit pinched with them, then you can just rest. You can do a little bit of like a shoulder circle while we're finishing off. That's fine. Let's do 1 more the other direction. Big shrug up. Shoulders are getting toasty. I'm starting to feel my traps a little bit. Awesome. Put your stick behind your body and want your hands forward like you're about to do a bicep curl, but the stick's behind us, so obviously the stick can't go anywhere. This one's a staple. Many of you who know me, we do this a lot. This is called shoulder extension. Grab nice and wide. And focus on lifting in a second here, slow and controlled. This is not jarring, it's not jerky. I'm just gonna gently lift that stick outwards and away from my body. If I can get to my chest height, that's good. But if I can get to my shoulder height without forcing it, that's where we wanna be, okay? And again, you can do, say, 3, 4, 5 reps of a really gentle intensity. Wide hands, maybe you only go to your belly button in terms of height. And then if you're able, more difficult, of course, would be narrowing your grip and trying to keep your torso tall, just like the first movement we did. I'm not compensating using my spine. Really try and lift that stick outwards and away from the body. And your pull is sustained and slow and gentle. It's not rushed. We're gonna do 1 more. I think we've done about 80 of these by now. Big mouth talking man here. Cool. Little shaky shake. Couple seconds. Next one we're going to go into be gentle. It's usually pretty benign, but for some people, if they're lacking overhead mobility, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. Going to have you cup the top of whatever you guys are using here. You're going to grab somewhere down the shaft of what you're using, okay? It's up to you to define like what feels kind of comfortable. And square up with me, the camera. I'm going to do my best to square up with you guys. I'm going to use my guiding hand. We'll call your gripping hand your guiding hand, just to slowly push the arm back overhead. And so what we're passively doing here is shoulder flexion, which is overhead range of motion. And I want to feel a little bit of a stretch on the opening side of the body. So lats, maybe triceps. I don't want to feel discomfort on the back. If you're feeling a little stretch on the back, that's okay, but just not discomfort or pinching. And again, using that guiding hand to kind of put yourself into this position we find ourselves often with overhead presses or handstands or whatever. Nice. Let's switch sides. Just like I said about 80 times already, I want to move smoothly through my range of motion. Because when I move slow through my degrees of range, I can feel what's happening in my shoulder. Do I feel a nice stretch? Does it feel good? Does it feel bad? Do I get to a point where I kind of want to start to use my back as compensation? If I go too fast, I'm not going to get feedback on any of those things. Got about 4 or 5 more of these on the second arm. And just like the first few movements, we're trying to keep that elbow straight. So the arm that's going overhead, nice and straight. Shoulders, I hope, are going to feel brand new after what we're doing today. Let's get one more. Maybe 2 more, we'll see. There's a billion stick things we could do. Okay, next one, we'll give the shoulders a little bit of a rest. Might be a little bit tricky to see. I hope my camera's not awkwardly mirrored for you guys. I'm holding my stick with my left hand. On the inside, I'm gonna bring my right hand and I'm gonna grab the stick. So it's gonna look like this. Okay, check. See everyone's doing. Come by and say hi, perfect, I think we're all good. Now, not going too crazy, be soft if you haven't done this. Find a position down on the shaft that feels comfortable. You're just gonna gently pull the arm into what we call external rotation. Okay, a little soft stretch, and then I'm gonna relax with equal control. So I softly pull into a position, I'm not wrenching, and I'm also gonna exhibit some control on the way back in. Okay, we're gonna do about 6, 7 more, and on the last one, we're gonna add a pause. For some of you, you're gonna be like, wow, this is a great stretch. So for some of you, you might not feel much at all, and that's okay. Got a few more. Equal control out, equal control in. Let's do one more, and we're gonna hold this one for about 10 seconds. Enter a little bit slower, and give me a nice pause here. Find a comfortable stretch if you are able to feel a stretch, and just gently hold that for a few more seconds. I'm not trying to use, again, my torso or spine to compensate the movement. It's only my shoulder feeling and exhibiting the force. Let's gently start to exit out. Nice, so we're gonna move on after this second arm. But everything we've done here is really easy, good, gentle, what we call passive range of motion. Because we're using the stick to pull our shoulders into a position of stretch, right? Whatever it looks like. And so these are definitely helpful drills to do. I think we'll all feel really good when we're done. But I would recommend when you guys are done, if you know shoulder cars from doing them with me, you want to add some active stuff when we're done. Because this is passive. It's good for putting my body in a stretch. It's good for feeling good. But my body might not necessarily remember the range of motion. And so I want to create strength to remember the range of motion. Let's do one more. Give me a nice pause. Whatever feel of stretch you would like. Soft, medium, intense. Doesn't need to be crazy. Hold from there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. How is that, guys?
Good.
Thanks, Danica. How was that? Anyone else? Feedback?
Pretty straightforward. Easy.
Good. Val, Nadia, how was that?
Perfect.
Awesome, guys. Okay, let's move towards the hips. We're gonna do some stuff here that might not necessarily look like stretching, but it's gonna be stretches and types of mobility. And then once our lower body's feeling more and more warmed, we'll move to some more classic type work. Let's go to your regular squat width, okay? We're gonna do some kinetic squats. Kinetic means you're gonna have intention down and you're gonna have intention up. What I want you to think about as we descend down into your squat is pulling into your squat. And using that word in your mind, pulling, will help you engage musculature, ankles, quads, hips, to bring you down. You might really feel like a stretch. You might get a little bit lower than normal. It really just depends on how much intent you put into it. When we get to our bottom position, we're gonna hold for a second, and then I'm gonna say push up. And I want it to be a more effortful push than coming to the gym and just kind of squatting up. It just happens. I want it to be a firm push where you're engaging with your legs, your belly is tight. This might take a few times to kind of figure out what I'm discussing, and that's okay. So let's get the hands out in front of the body somewhere, okay? Kind of like football catcher position. And starting to cue that word pull, I want you to pull yourself down into your squat. I like to spread the floor with my feet, push the floor apart as if I was on 2 pieces of paper. In my bottom position, I'm active, I'm squeezing myself down, I'm feeling my shins, I'm feeling my hips pull me down. Some people like to think about pulling their quads up to the ceiling. Start to transition that pressure now and push, 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 push yourself all the way to the ceiling. Again, I'm spreading the floor with my feet. We're gonna do about 5 or 6 more now. I'm not gonna rest. Try and always have some tension. You are either pulling or you're pushing. You're never doing nothing. There's no transition. It's one or the other. So pull yourself back into your second squat. Pull, 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 and immediately start to push and press yourself up. No pause, pulling back down. My feet are pushing outwards. I'm pulling my quads to the ceiling, pulling my ankles up, and now pressing, 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 and pulling again for 4. Pull, 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 pull down to the floor. No pause, no rest. Press up, push up, squeeze your legs up. Few more. Pull yourself down, put your hands wherever you need to. Press yourself up, intention everywhere. 3 more. Pull, pull, pull yourself down to your bottom squat. Big chest for me. And press up, press up, press up. Squeeze your legs. Pull, pull, chest up, hands in front. As deep as you can go now. Pull yourself down and press, 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 press. Last one. I'm feeling my legs. Pull, pull quads to the ceiling if that's helpful. Squeeze ankles off the floor, get to your absolute bottom position with good positioning, and press all the way up. Awesome. That was a great workout. Okay, so if your regular squat width is about here, let's go a little bit wider than usual. Cool?
Hey, Will.
Yeah?
There's a question in the chat.
Question in the chat. Guys. Is it from you, Sean? You trying to say?
No.
Is there a mod if I can't do squats? Vaishu, I would say if you know couch stretch Vaishu, you can put your leg on the back of a bench or a chair right now. I'll just hang out there for a bit while we do some squats. Okay, so we're wider than our usual squat. We're not gonna have as much depth. Let's take that same kinetic stretch and do like only 20% intensity. So we're gonna bring the intensity level way down, but we're still gonna think kinetic. You're pulling down, pressing up. We're gonna do 5. So start to pull yourself down. Only 20% tension this time. Quads are pulling to the ceiling. More in what we call a horse position. And then I'm gonna push myself up. Again, pull, pull, pull. Not quite so intense because this can be more sensitive for most people. And push, 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 push. No gap in tension. I'm immediately pulling myself back down. Pushing back up, 2 more. Pulling, 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 pulling. Press, 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 press. No gap, right away again. Pulling, 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 pulling. Only 20, 25%. And press, press, press. Nice. Last squat. Fairly narrow. So find where you'd usually be for a goblet squat and air squat. And I want you, not feet together, but more narrow. We're gonna see more spine rounding here, okay? And you're not gonna be able to get as low, totally fine, okay? You gotta use your judgment on what's a good depth for you. Also kinetic, pulling down, pushing up. We're gonna do 5. Hands are probably gonna need to come in the front for balance. Begin to pull yourself down, feeling more engagement through the ankles here, and smoothly pressing yourself up. Right away again, pulling, pulling, pulling down. What does the new position feel like? Pushing, pushing, pushing. 3 more. I'm still spreading the floor with my feet, pushing the floor apart, because I find that really helps me get engagement through my legs. Number 4, pulling down. I'm gonna go a little deeper. Push up. Last one, no gap. Pulling, 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 pulling. And pressing myself up. Nice. Are the legs awake, guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Maybe, maybe not. People are afraid to talk back to me. I know, it's a thing. All right, okay, let's go to 90-90. Some of you know it's my favorite position to be in. So if you don't know 90-90, you're gonna find your hip bone, whatever target leg you wanna be on. You're gonna do a straight line out to your forward knee. Cool. And then my back leg is also 90 degrees. So I got a square and a square. Looks like this, okay? If this is a really difficult position for you to hold, you just find that your knee's really high right now, you got really intense cramping already, You can make it easier by bending the knees. The knees stay where they are, but they just simply bend, okay? You can do this, totally fine. This is simply a little bit more of an intermediate position. Okay, we're gonna continue with this kinetic theme, okay? Again, if you haven't done it before, I totally understand that you might not like feel a lot of things going on, but just like practicing any other physical skill, once you practice something over and over again, you'll get better at it. We're gonna do a good morning, right? So a standing good morning, I hinge over my hips, my back is flat, and I feel a nice like stretch backwards through here. We're gonna do that in 90-90. So, I want you guys to be set up just like me. I'm facing the side, of course. Big, tall chest. Try and maintain a flat spine for as long as you can. And then it will start to round eventually. That's okay. We just don't want it to be super excessive. So, what I want you guys to do, we're gonna do a practice rep. Just fold over. Your hands can go wherever they want. And you might get 45 degrees. Maybe you're like nose to the floor. And then gently push yourself back up. Let's do one more, just to gauge what you think is accessible and good for you today. Now, we're gonna make this kinetic. So when we go down, I want you to envision pulling your leg off the floor to yourself, which will engage the top tissues of your leg. It'll pull you into your stretch. And when we are standing up, I want you to try and think about pushing the floor away from you, which is gonna engage tissues on the bottom of your leg. So, again, a couple reps it might take to get the feel of it. As we start to fold, I want you to pull your leg up to your chest as you fold. Pull your leg and try and touch it to your chest. And then as you stand up, try and drive your knee and ankle down through the floor. Push and drive down through the floor. No stop, no gap in tension. Immediately start to pull back down. Pull down as you pancake forward or fold forward, and then smoothly press the leg down. It doesn't need to be wicked intense. It can be 15% intensity. Pull down, pull down, pull down, pull down. Push up, push up, push up. If I need to modify, my legs are bent. And I just do it like this. It looks a lot like a pigeon pose. Pull, pull, pull. Press, press, press. Couple more. If you're feeling really good, just maintain what you're doing as you pull the leg off the floor while you fold. And press, 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 press. Two more. Pull. Trying to pull ankle up towards the ceiling, pulling your knee towards your chest. Pressing the leg down to the floor as if it was mud and you can make an imprint in it. Last one. Pull, 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 pull. And push down, push down, push down, push down. Awesome. Stay here. We're gonna try and do a really fancy flip with good control. So what we're gonna start to do here with your trail leg, I'm gonna have you start to peek that trail leg off the floor. I want you to slowly find the point where you can open up that back hip as much as you can without your trail leg moving. Say, this leg has remained here. I'm still opening up. When I feel like I can go no more without suffering movement, I'm then gonna move both knees at the same pace. My hands can go wherever to help. And like magnets, I'm gonna try and keep my knees maximally distanced. One's not moving too much more than the other. I'm gonna slowly come on down, and I'm gonna hit my other 90-90. How fancy is that? Are you guys impressed with yourselves, what you just did? Okay, other side. This side could feel way better. It could feel way worse. So let's do our 2 practice reps. No kinetic force here. Just gonna kind of fold over. Hands can go wherever they want. Gentle. One more gentle rep, just a little prober, a little tester. Awesome. 5 or 6, 7 reps. It kind of depends on how I feel once we get into the set. We're gonna add some kinetic force. Start gentle, 5, 10%, and then increase if you see fit. Start to pull yourself down as you bring your leg off the floor towards your chest. Start to press the leg down as you return and bring your torso tall. Press, press, press. And number 2, pulling knee, pulling ankle off the floor towards your chest. Pressing down to the floor as if it was mud to return tall. Down for 3, pulling, 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 squeezing my hip and quad towards my chest, up, and pressing leg down to the floor for 3. Into 4 right away, pulling, pulling, pulling. If you have the ability, you're actually gonna get your ankle off the floor like me. And then you're gonna return it as you press and force down to the floor to stand, feeling the underside work. Pull off the floor, squeeze the leg towards the body, and press, 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 press. We'll do one more. Pull off the floor, bring your knee upwards to the ceiling, and press, 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 nice and tall, and a little bit of a break. Good, come out of 90-90. Do whatever you guys wanna do right now. Sit, stand, be in a position that feels comfortable. We got about 6-7 minutes. We'll probably go 2 minutes over time to 10:02 because we started a little bit late. Let's get into what I call base position, okay? Which is gonna look something like this. If you're able to, try not to have lazy feet. Try and turn your feet so that they are flat on the floor, nice and planted. Try and keep them there. All right, with your shoulders and upper body that are nicely primed from all of our stick work, I want you to begin to push into the floor with your hands. And you're gonna try and reach your head, the top of your head towards the ceiling nice and tall. We're gonna hold this for a few seconds. Some of you might feel a little stretch or a little working in your mid-back or your shoulders or your chest. All good. Just trying to be tall here for a few more seconds, okay? The next movement we're gonna add in while we hold this base position is a neck movement, okay? So you gotta be gentle if you haven't done it before. Maybe even watch a rep of me first. Let me get a little readjustment. What I'm gonna do here, watching closely first, is I'm gonna tuck my chin, and then really gently, I'm just gonna try and curl my chin towards my collarbone, probably talk loudly into the mic. And then I'm gonna do the reverse. I'm gonna start to reach my chin up towards the ceiling, and then as much as I feel comfortable, I'm gonna arch my neck into extension backwards. Before we do a few more reps, when I extend backwards, I wanna feel an opening stretch on this side of the throat. I don't wanna feel pinching on the back. So what I like to do is I like to think about lengthening my jaw from my collarbone and reaching it to the ceiling. That helps me to access a stretch here. If you have pinching, lessen your range of motion and just be really gentle. So in your base position, nice and tall, let's get super like quadruple 1800 double chin going on. And then I'm gonna gently flex my neck, try and tap my collarbone, my chest, try and feel a stretch on the back of the neck here. A lengthening on the back of the neck, start to return to neutral, start to jut the chin out and up, try and start to feel a stretch to the throat, and start to extend as far as you feel comfortable. As you come out of it, reassert your shoulders. Push, don't lose that engagement with your base position. Flex the neck down. Breathe in as you slowly transition, chin up, lengthen it, reach it to the ceiling as you extend back. Be gentle. 2 more. Reassert your shoulders. This is a tough position, I know. If you need to, you can sit cross-legged or stand. Flex neck to chin, neck to chin. Flex your chin to your collarbone, whatever the thing is. Extend your jaw, reach your chin long. Feel a nice stretch in your throat. Love it. One last one. Push up with your shoulders, strong base position. Tuck your chin to your collarbone. Start to extend backwards. Start to lengthen the jaw. Reach it up high. Extend as much as you see fit. Awesome. Okay, guys. We're gonna do a few ankle rotations, and then we're gonna chill out with some breathing work, okay? The breathing work is by far the most important, so don't leave, hang around. Take an arm under a chosen leg, okay? You're gonna do a little arm lock or leg lock on that leg. If you really want to, you can stand here and hold a wall for balance if something about this position doesn't work for you. With your target leg, a little closer, I want you to point your foot. So I'm gonna take my foot from neutral, I'm gonna start to point it, and I'm actually gonna try and curl my toes. Can you see that? I'm gonna curl my toes. You might get a little cramping on the underside of your foot. That's a good thing. You're training your tissues in a way that maybe they haven't been trained before. Relax the pressure, pull your toe inwards. So I'm here, I'm gonna pull inwards. I'm gonna round the corner and flex my toes backwards towards my shin. And I want you to pull for a second. Pull your toes and try and touch your shin with your toes, feeling good engagement through your shin. You're then gonna turn your toe outwards. So if I'm here, it goes outwards, and I'm gonna round the corner down. Nice. Other direction, just one more time. So I'm gonna turn my toes outwards, pull backwards, bringing my toes to my shin, feeling that burning here, that working as I squeeze backwards. And then I'm gonna start to round the corner inwards, down, and we're gonna finish off with that point again and that scrunch. Trying to actually cramp underside of arch and maybe some engagement through your Achilles too. Good, just one rep, a little bit of love for the ankles, not too much. If you like it, do some more when we're done. Other side, point, try and scrunch the toes, try and point them hard. Relax that tension. Rotate outwards. Flex backwards, pull your toes to your shin. Turn inwards, so I'm here, I turn inwards through my ankle, rotate down, other direction. Pull in, flex backwards, really trying to peel those toes backwards, pulling outwards, down, pointing, scrunching toes, trying to grab something with the ball of your foot, feeling some good engagement there, holding that for 3, 2, 1, awesome. Okay guys, we don't have a lot of time. I want to respect everyone's time that this is a planned 30-minute session. Let's finish off with just 4 belly breaths, slow and controlled, and 4 chest breaths, slow and controlled. What is that, Will? I don't know what breathing is. Put a hand on your stomach, hand on your chest. We'll start with the chest because it's easier. I want you to feel that you're not going to have much movement on your hand that's on your stomach. It's going to stay where it is. It's not going to rise up or move outwards. I want you to try and expand your chest and your rib cage as you breathe in. And feel that arm raised in elevation and go down in elevation. A couple more times. So feeling the hand that's on your chest, rise up and lower down. One more time. And now we're going to try and do the opposite, which can be a little bit harder sometimes. Try and still your top hand on your chest. It's not going to move or minimally, while your bottom, your belly hand is going to rise up as you inhale and breathe in through your stomach. Chest hand does nothing. Try and breathe up and out through your stomach. Two more. Awesome.